Just about giving the people what they need, Adam.
Such a strong way to say it.
Welcome back to the podcast. We're
slowly figuring things out on a consistent basis.
It is. Did you know that we recently released 2 podcasts in 1 week? Drove the people crazy.
Really?
Oh, people just commenting wow, 2 in a week. I won't complain. This is incredible. This is great. Just giving the people what they need around here. That's what we do. You know what I mean? Because this is a podcast for the people, by the people.
Are we by the people?
I mean, I consider us people.
People?
We're pretty normal dudes.
That is true.
Pretty normal dudes. We have gotten some incredible feedback off of the podcast.
I don't know if I need to be nervous or...
We recently got... I just think this is just such a great testimonial.
Before we get into that, should we declare our sponsors and all one of them?
Well, I think that the sponsors stick around just to hear their name mentioned, and then they jet.
Then they leave, so should wait for a little bit.
You know what I mean? I feel like they don't stick around. They hear that we mentioned them, and then they leave. And I feel like they need this feedback.
They need it
to just reassure their investment.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
David Schuler.
Okay.
has wrote on a recent podcast, and this is his review. It says, the best thing about this podcast is it's truly genuine. Huh?
Golly.
It's truly genuine.
Wow.
That's not it. It keeps going. And sometimes you're not really sure where things are going to go.
Welcome to the club.
Right?
Accurate.
Because we don't script any of this.
Accurate.
We have no idea outside of... Well, I have one thing that I was sure about today.
Yeah, but we didn't talk about any of them.
But it's still, the review's not done.
Okay.
Kind of like a blind squirrel and crack. You just got to sit back and see how it all plays out.
I think we got a new tagline.
Blind squirrel and crack. Just give that to David. Thank you, David, for listening to the podcast, being a fan. A review that has been shocking as well is how many people have enjoyed the Bedcast episode from a few weeks back.
You're kidding me.
I've had multiple people that I didn't know listen to the podcast in person. I was at my daughter's soccer practice. I'm actually a little bit embarrassed by this. It's a little... There's people that know... The people that know you in real life, like you kind of want to keep some separation.
Yeah, it's like, you're not allowed. Can we block people in this radius?
Yeah, is there any way that we could draw a circle of 75 miles around us and they can't listen?
It's blocked? Yeah, that'd be
because
wonderful.
I feel like, our last podcast, we talked about the fact that you, if I was to eat you, I believe that you would taste like General Tso's chicken. It was entitled Cannibalism.
Yeah,
and I just felt like that if that's what you would taste like, and
you are what you eat,
right? And now I've got people on my daughter's soccer team that I got to sit next to on Saturdays,
and they're wondering if you actually taste like what.
You're right, exactly. What does Brad taste like? I bet he does look like he'd be a pretty good marbled up ribeye. You know what I mean? It just gets a little bit weird when there's people that you personally know that are listening to the podcast.
A well-aged Wagyu.
Well-aged Wagyu is...
oh, my gosh.
Yeah, so it's a little bothersome that... I'm just kidding. I love... it was my buddy Aaron brought up... Not Aaron Napier.
Okay.
I don't think Nape's on to the...
He's not listening. He's not a regular?
I don't think he's a regular listener. Maybe we need to get him in, and he's en route to go to work for Boeing or whoever he works for at Tinker Air Force Base. I don't know. This is a good time. Do you want to handle the sponsor stuff today?
You know what? I can take a crack at it.
So,
I've been waiting for this moment. So today, our podcast is brought to you by none other than Deer Camp Coffee.
It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful Deer Camp Coffee.
I got to call him today. You know why?
There it is. The Final Descent Outdoors Rise Brew Hunt.
I got to call him today.
Why?
Sold out right now. We've
real.
sold it out. You, the listeners.
Wow. I mean,
Sold
it is.
out.
And like we've talked every time, like we have our biases. Obviously, it's got our logo on it right there. However,
It's good.
it is very good.
It's
I'm
very
out.
good coffee.
I'm out of it.
Well, guess what? You can't order anymore right
So-
now, bud.
so-
It's completely out of stock. So I got to make a phone call. Say, hey, what's the deal? We just selling it? Is it just hotcakes? Is it just rolling out?
Just hotcakes.
You know, we're just giving. Oh, you got some microphone problems.
We have our rubber bands have loosened over the time and abuse that we've
Mine's fine.
apparently mine is not. The bottom one is okay. It's all right. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine. You're fine. We're fine. I mean, we spent a lot of money on this high quality equipment.
People don't need to know. My mom used to always tell me you don't have to tell everything you know.
Hey,
That was my mom saying, Brad, you don't have to tell everything you know.
we're just trying
just
to be
keep
an
your
open
mouth
book.
shut.
This is a safe place.
Stay in your, it's
This
well,
is a
it's
safe
for the
place.
people. It's for the
It's
people.
For the people, by the people.
It is.
We got to be by the people and tell them all the extensive monies we've spent on all of this high quality
Wow.
things
You know.
that we've bought.
You know, there's some exciting things going on with our podcast right now.
Yeah.
We are now outside of all
Like
the
a-
other platforms.
like a
our YouTube
blind
channel, it's like a blind squirrel. It's on crack.
Just got to watch it play out.
We are now airing. You can watch the videos. You can listen on Carbon TV. So that's new. Some big news there. Carbon TV. I'll be honest, we didn't start out with a great relationship with Carbon TV.
It was not.
We
It was not.
started as a place. Carbon TV was a streaming platform for hunting shows, and they got a couple seasons of the show we uploaded, and they had it was old ownership. It's been bought, and new people own it now, so it's much better. But it wasn't good. Like the old ownership like owed us money and
Yep.
and some stuff, and so I was like, I ain't
Yep.
giving you guys another ounce.
It's like, is this worth the risk of it?
I'm not giving, I mean, obviously we want eyeballs on the show, but like, they didn't meet the agreement. And so I wasn't super pumped. And so I think they had like through season 7 of the show. And that was it. And I'm like, I'm not giving you no more, like you guys.
We had issues.
Like you owe me money. And so we're like, we're not going to air there any more stuff. And then conversation started back up. Like I'm getting the emails from them because we are still like on the platform for up through season 7, so they don't have the last 5 seasons. And just that conversation started having a conversation about the podcast and the show. And so we don't have all the episodes of the podcast up yet, but soon they'll all be there. It's just Brad Clay needs to carve out some time to sit down and do that.
Time.
It's time. It's of the essence.
Time. We've got time.
We've
got time.
the famous last words
Is it count
Brad and Adam.
when they're famous first words?
Yeah. Yeah, we've said a lot, and we don't have time.
They're kind of the first and the last words, to be honest. It's kind of a general theme.
It is. But I'll tell you this. I've been very impressed. They've got our podcast. Dude, they pumped the snot out of us.
I know. Like you told me, like, hey, we're on Carbon TV, and I was like, oh, I want to go check it out, and I logged into it.
It's like, boom, our faces.
Main page. I was like, that's my face.
There we are.
Right there.
And so if you do enjoy the podcast and you are not a part of Carbon TV, I would really encourage you. New ownership is awesome. Jules McQueen, she's the president. I've known Jules for a long time, met her. Don't know her well, but have had several conversations just in passing in trade shows. She's been around the industry a long time. She's great. They're obviously heading in the right direction. Do you know that they're the streaming service of SHOT Show? Carbon TV is.
I did not know that.
Yeah, no, it's a big deal, man.
I did not know that.
And so, we're gonna get some of our old episodes, some more. They're gonna get the next 5 seasons. It's just another thing of time, just finding time to do it. They're gonna get those as well. And then, but if you haven't checked out Carbon TV, you really should. You can go create. It's a free account. Go set up a free account, and then once you get your account set up, go to Final Descent Outdoors. Give us that 10 rating.
10 star.
10 star. Give us that 10 star rating, and then you can go to the Final Descent Outdoors podcast and do the same thing. Give us, because they're
Like
two
an
separate.
8.5
They're two
star.
separate things on the platform. What'd you say?
Like an 8.5 star.
That's where we are right now.
Yeah.
We're an 8.5.
Just if we can maintain that right there.
No, bro. Let's not sit here at an 85.
I don't want
to be.
Well, there's
Is this a B? Are you saying?
expectations
Is this a
get-
B-rated podcast? Is that what you're saying?
At best, most times that's where we kind of live.
You know what? As I was uploading the first couple,
Yeah.
like I think they've got like 20
Yeah.
uploaded, and I'm like, man, some of these are rough. Remember the baby blues?
Yeah.
No,
They're over there.
they are. We still got them. They're here for the guests.
That's the guest headphones.
We still got the baby blues. Sterling has not missed those. He didn't ask for them.
He's been asking for those to be gone for a while or something.
No, I don't think he's realized that they're not here.
They finally took them away from me. So, yeah. But
He hadn't asked. That's a beautiful thing with 6-year-old.
yeah, so the Deer Camp coffee, along with all that other stuff that we said, which I'm now out of, and I'm about to break into this can of.
That's the only bag. No, never mind. There's 2 bags over there.
So
Yeah. So
that's
anyway,
done.
I do have so Carbon TV. Go make an account. Give us that 10-star rating.
Mm-hmm.
Another fan of the podcast. Can you believe that? There's 2 of them.
Two whole fans.
All right.
That's 2 more than I thought we were going to
Sent me
have.
a Fox News article.
Wait, what?
They sent me a Fox News article.
Okay, go on. I'm intrigued.
Irish rooster with violent past
Oh, no, not this again.
kills man with attack to the back of his legs, court says. Victim suffered from a puncture wound on his lower leg caused by a rooster that basically the guy stepped in and was trying to keep it from attacking his kids. All right. So this man died in April of 2022, was attacked by a rooster with a history of violence towards other people.
Uh-huh.
They even have a picture of him. We got a picture. Can we come to this? There's a picture of this rooster. Okay. All right. Let's see. Judicial inquiry that he responded to reports of a sudden death on April 28th. And when he arrived, he spoke to paramedics who said CPR attempts to revive the victim were unsuccessful. Brown said the man, later identified as Kraus, was on the ground in the kitchen in a pool of blood with a wound on the back of one of his legs.
Wow.
Corey O'Keefe was a tenant in his house and told his daughter, Virginia Guanan, what happened. When Krause's daughter arrived at the house, she saw blood on the floor and paramedics performing CPR. Krause had a puncture wound, like they said, on the back of his leg and a trail of blood from the house that led to the chicken coop outside.
Wow.
His daughter said during the judicial inquiry that she realized the chicken must have caused her father's death. The daughter said she suspected it was the chicken with the blood on its claws because it had attacked her own daughter previously. All right.
Wow.
They said that the examiner also reported that O'Keefe was questioned about the incident and said he returned home from work around 8 a.m., fed the animals, and asked Krause how he was doing before heading off to bed. A little while later, O'Keefe reports Krause was screaming for help. When O'Keefe went to see what was going on, he said he saw blood spurting from a large wound on the back of Krause's calf, which also had two other scratches. He quickly called emergency services and was talked through CPR for about 25 minutes until the paramedics arrived. Obviously, it didn't work, and the rooster killed the man. How many roosters were involved in that, Adam? One.
How many men willing and able to fight that rooster were involved?
You don't think he was trying to push it back? You think he just stood there and took it? That is an idiotic statement. That is an idiotic statement.
How in the world?
You have sat in this podcast and said that you could take on how many?
500.
500 roosters in a room.
Stand by it. 12 by 12 room.
A 12 by 12 room with 500 roosters, and that you would somehow survive it.
Two chickens in each hand, just going to town.
Well, may God rest Mr. Krause's soul.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for him. That one peck to the back of the calf took him out.
It wasn't a peck. It was a spur, which are long and sharp and apparently deadly. Maybe it's just because he was an Irish rooster.
Maybe. He was scrappy. He's wiry.
He's wiry. And you look like you could be Irish, but you're not. You're Wyandotte Indian.
Yeah. There's probably some of that in there.
There's probably a little bit of Irish.
Honest,
I mean, if you got the old red
Probably.
The red beard.
The old Barbarojo.
Barbarojo.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah, I figured that was shared by us, to us.
That was incredible.
By one of our podcast listeners. But what was funny about it is that nothing else was said. They just sent the article.
They just sent the article just as a...
Yeah. That was from Matt Olson.
Wow.
One of our listeners, Matt Olson, sent that to us.
Well, thank you for the insight, Matt.
Yep. And also, reality check for everybody else that realizes that Adam Carter's an absolute idiot. Thinking that he could handle 500 roosters in a 12 by 12 room.
I think I also said in my underwear, I believe, which is just a good mental image to just something you can't ever get rid of.
Yeah, because I'm in it right now. I'm there.
That's the full
I
imagery.
see you in a pair of navy blue boxer briefs because I've seen you in them navy blue boxer briefs so many times on hunting trips.
Sam's coming to 10-pack.
That's right, baby, coming in the 10-pack. Dang it, and you're really hairy.
Yes,
You know, there's certain things I'll never get in a hot tub with you, Adam. I'm afraid you'll clog it up.
That's okay. I'll give you that one. Guess I get the hot tub to myself.
You get it to yourself. You know something I feel like we should make a part of all of our trips. We should buy one of those inflatable Coleman hot tubs.
Coleman hot tubs.
And just take it on all of our hunting trips. It's got a little heat pump and stuff with it. It's like $500.
We're gonna.
We just inflate it.
Do you have a hose?
And we just bring it with us. And we just, like, everywhere we go. Could you imagine having that in Mexico? If we blew that sucker up out there next to the fire and we just sat? Because I would be like, get in here, Francisco. Come on, bud. Get in this hot tub with us.
Oh, my gosh.
Tell me that would not be incredible.
What's the footprint on that? It's like one carry-on suitcase?
Oh, we fly private, bro.
Now we're
flying private.
We've escalated.
First class. Living my life. That's how we roll now, bro. We don't even.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
It's no longer a concern.
It's no longer a concern. Weight of luggage is not a thing.
No longer a concern.
All the Diet Coke you can drink from the Millionaire.
Oh gosh.
Terminal.
That's why I can't have soda machine in my house.
Is that was that a thing? Like,
I
did
know.
Y'all talk about it? Like did y'all talk about doing it?
All of us have seen Richie Rich. He had a McDonald's in his house.
Well.
Like, if you were going to have something that's one of those things that I couldn't do. Like,
my daughter's all upset because she didn't realize that in Oak Tree down here, there's a Lululemon store.
Oh, really?
In the neighborhood.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, my daughter's, like, bothered by that. She's like,
yeah.
Why can't we live in Oak Tree? It's like, because we're poor.
Why can't we live there? Because I don't need you going to the Lululemon store on the reg.
I know. It's kind of crazy. We had this conversation today. We was talking about shoes. And our kids and shoes and stuff. And Hurley had just finished basketball. Yeah. So it's like when basketball's over, now you can wear your nice basketball shoes to school.
Your gym shoes.
He gets to wear them now. They're just like everyday shoes.
They're just regular old everyday shoes.
He was pumped about wearing his shoes, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah, because, he's been asking, why can't I wear them? I was like, well, buddy, you got to keep, the gym floor. You got to keep the gym floor nice because we don't want to scratch it up with rocks and all that stuff. He's like, oh, okay, I get that. And then as soon as, clockwork, hey, I don't need these. I'm like, you're right, because you're probably going to outgrow those in about 14 seconds after basketball season's done.
Right,
so,
yeah. Better get some use out of them.
Might as well get them worked up.
Get them worked up, get them going. And you guys said you're into how'd your basketball tournament go with the kids?
Oh, man, it was a blast. I went into it, I think I told you, I was like, we'll be lucky to get third.
Yeah.
So we're not.
You said we're athletic, but we can't shoot.
Can't hit
crap.
Yeah, the thing's got a lid on it. Mm-hmm. Just can't hit anything to save our lives. And so we go to the tournament. First game we played Bethel. So played Bethel. They're not that great. Beat them 24-2 or something like that. So
that's behind the woodshed.
Yeah, stomped them.
Yeah.
And second game we were playing the.
I'd probably rather get stabbed in the calf by a rooster and go ahead and bleed out. Go ahead and bleed out. Go ahead and bleed out. If you
I want to know the artery that was hit, that was struck.
See, that's the thing. It's one shot, bro. It's just one shot. You
it didn't even try to do a tourniquet. Nothing. I feel like the prep on this, like,
I mean, but dude, I mean, I've made bad shots on deer, like back hip stuff, and I mean they're dead.
well, that's a femoral
seconds.
artery. If you get hit in the femoral artery by anything, like you've got less than a
this
minute.
guy did. I mean, this guy was unconscious. I mean, he was screaming. He runs in. He walks in. There's a pool of blood. The guy obviously was out. He was passed out quickly because the guy started CPR, and he did it for 25 minutes waiting on a paramedic. Like, I mean, whatever it was, it was quick.
It was sounds quite serious.
Yeah, I mean, the old lights went dim quick from that Irish.
That's why,
maybe, like I said, maybe them Irish roosters are different. Maybe that was like the Conor McGregor of the rooster world. You know what I mean? Maybe that's the Conor. Like,
he's out there talking noise every day.
He's just walking,
beating up on his kid. It's like,
you're next. I don't know. I mean, he did tack I think this guy's grandkids.
Yeah,
before. So,
that's kind of my rule. Like with any animal, though, if I own an animal and it attacks one of my kids, or unless it was warranted in self-defense of the animal or something, like they backed him into a corner or something, that animal's probably gonna die.
Right.
It's probably gonna die.
Yeah.
It's not gonna get a second chance.
I was chased at the Elk City, Oklahoma City Park by a Canada goose when I was probably 4 years old.
They don't play.
And I got too close or something, and I remember running from it as it was coming, like wings open, running. And I remember I was running to my dad.
Yeah.
And I'm running like with my arms out for him to grab me. And he doesn't grab me. He goes past me, and I'm like, and I turn as he drop kicks.
Oh, the goose
with a pair of cowboy boots. And he killed it.
Oh yeah,
he killed that goose right there in the city park, and he walks over, picks me up, and we get in the car and left. It's like, we got to leave this situation right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I shared a post on Facebook recently, and we'll come back around.
Went for the jugular.
He just drop kicked him, killed him dead. My mom, so I know both my parents were killed.
Kick to the face.
My mom, when she was in college, was at one of her friends' house, and they had a Chihuahua, and it bit my mom's heel, and my mom kicked the dog into the TV, and it killed it. She killed a Chihuahua, her friend's family's Chihuahua.
I'm proud.
Man, I got another traumatic death of an animal story with my mom. So we were going over to
Is this another bird thing, adding to the bird trauma?
No, this is dog. I don't have a dog trauma, but it seems like I should. We were going over to a friend's house, Buddy Parman, and my mom taught his son Lyle, and we were going over to their house. This was in Raiden, and they had a German Shepherd, and we were walking up on the porch, and the German Shepherd bit my mom on the butt. Like, but it nipped her, but it got her pants. And so now it's like pulling and shaking.
Yeah.
She's screaming on the porch. And I'll never forget, I'm on the steps of the porch. Buddy opens the door, yells. The dog lets go of my mom. My mom, like, steps off to the side and is like, turning to face the dog. Well, apparently, Buddy, just living out in the country, just had like a shotgun leaned beside the door for varmints and stuff in the yard. Yeah. I'm standing on the porch, like on the steps of the porch. Yeah. The dog's probably 10 foot in front of me. My mom's like 3 foot on the other side of the dog. And all of a sudden, from inside the house, Buddy shoots. Just shoots this German Shepherd.
Yeah.
Like, boom, blows him off the porch.
Broadside straight, just off the...
Blew him right off the porch. Like, you know that scene from Unforgiven?
Oh, yeah.
Where that blows that guy across?
Oh, yeah.
It's the same deal, bro. Blew that dog out into the yard. I will never in my life forget that. Like, standing there, because I'm like third step up, So, like, I'm like eye level with this dog.
So the dog passes you in the air.
The dog passed me in the air. Just, like, blows that dog out.
How old is Buddy?
Now? Or
no,
at the time? Buddy was probably like... Man, like, I don't know, mid-30s.
Golly.
Yeah, probably mid-30s. Just blew that German Shepherd off the porch. I'll never forget it.
That's the thing. Like, you can't take a risk with the animal like that. Like, I do the same thing.
No, man. If your dog bites somebody,
I do the same thing.
You gotta deal with it. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah.
Man, that's not even the only time I've seen a dog shot.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say her name.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to cause an issue. But a lady that we used to hunt, her ground in Sulphur.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about.
I know.
And they raise sheep.
Yeah.
And they didn't know if it was a coyote or if it was a dog or what it was. At first, they were getting in and it killed one of their sheep.
Yeah.
In the pens.
Yeah.
And she puts up like a trail camera.
Uh-huh.
Or saw it. I think she saw it. And it was this boxer dog that was hanging out down there. And she was like, no. And so me and Clayton Edgar are fixing to go hunting. And we got to have Clayton on the podcast. We've talked about him coming up.
Lots of stories.
Oh, it's 3 podcasts worth of stories of Clayton. We got to talk about how he ended the Mill Creek Police Department, Mill Creek, Oklahoma Police Department. Shut it down. There no longer has a police department because of Clayton Edgar.
That's a great story.
Oh, so many great Clayton stories. Anyway, I just more Clayton stories roll in.
You're just sitting there. Now you're going down rabbit trails.
I'm not. That's for another time, another place.
Oh gosh.
But me and Clayton are getting out of the truck, getting ready to go in for an evening hunt. We literally hunted in this lady's yard, right on the edge of town. And we would, on a Friday night before a football game,
chasing them city deer.
We were, man. First time I saw this deer, his name was Mistake.
I think you've told the story of Mistake before,
I maybe have,
but I don't think you've told the circumstances.
Well, the first time I saw this deer was I was driving home, and he crossed, and I lived in a neighborhood in the town of Sulphur, Oklahoma, and he crossed the road in front of me onto the golf course.
Yeah.
And I was like, that deer's a stud.
That's a monster.
And I was like, I have to find ground close to here to hunt him. So there's a lady that had ground maybe half a mile from there that we went to church with. And didn't she have very much? It was like 8 acres.
Yeah.
And I was like, but she had some timber on it. And I was like, hey, would you mind if I hunted behind your house? Just bow hunt. And she was like, no problem at all.
Yeah.
I go put feed out, put a camera on it. Within 3 hours of putting it out, I had a picture of him.
Wow.
And I'm like, I found him. This is his home. That sucker was the smartest deer that I've ever hunted. We named him Mistake because he didn't make one.
Yeah.
He never made a mistake. I only saw him twice on the hoof. Once Adam Nicholas is in the tree, he stood underneath me. And our cameras aren't what they are today. It used to be when you got 10 minutes left of daylight, legal shooting light, you were done.
It's done.
Especially we were in heavy timber. Yeah. We didn't have the light. Now, cameras, you can
easily accomplish shooting light and a lot of temptation after that.
Yeah, you can. Temptation with it afterwards because of what cameras are capable of doing now and pulling light. So, Adam leans down and he goes, just think, if it wasn't for this camera, you'd be able to arrow the biggest deer of your life. And I was like, thank you, Adam.
If it wasn't for you having the camera, you would probably be dead on the ground now.
That's right. I'd throw you out of the cedar tree that we had trimmed up to put the stand in. Anyway, so we're going into hunt Mistake. And Kim goes, hey, if you guys see...
threw her under the bus.
Oh, crap.
It's okay.
I didn't say her last name.
Yeah, that's fine.
Dang it. You edit that out.
It'll be all right.
It's fine. She's like, if you see, yeah, we won't. No, I don't edit these.
We don't edit these. So many things have slipped through the cracks.
Yeah, probably should have been edited out
by the people for the people.
100%. But we are fixing to climb in. Go, and Kim says, if you see this boxer, kill him.
Yeah,
essentially like kill him because I'm 90% sure he's killed. Like at this point, he's killed like 2 or 3 of her sheep.
Yeah,
and she's like, I can't. I haven't been able to pin him down to get him killed.
Yeah.
And I don't know where he's coming from, but
yeah,
it's an issue. And we're like, oh, okay. Literally, like I say, okay. I look up and the dude is coming across the pasture towards us.
Yeah,
and I'm like, is that him right there? And Kim's like, oh my gosh, it is him.
Yeah.
And like me and Clayton are standing there. Well, this dog comes running up and he gets aggressive with us. And like he's like, ruh, ruh, like barking at us. And Clayton's like, get out of here, hey, hey.
Yeah.
And like he's like bowing up to Clayton. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna have to get my bow out.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have to shoot him. Like I don't have a gun, so I'm like getting my bow, and I'm like, this is getting crazy. Like trying to get a knock.
Yeah.
Get an arrow knock to like shoot this dog. It's like 20 feet from us. It's like aggressive, and all of a sudden, boom, whack. I mean, dead center of the chest. Dog does a backflip, lands on the ground, dead. And I turn, and there she is, holding the gun.
Mid-stride,
just blew him down.
Just blew him down.
And I was like, wow.
Please tell me it was like a lever action, and after she's like,
I don't think it was, but she just blows this dog down, and we're just like, holy cow! Like that, this dog's wild. This dog's obviously like he was I mean, I was worried. Yeah, I mean he's not an Irish rooster, but he's still pretty scary. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It would not feel good to have him latch on to you.
No, not at all. And so anyway. I was like, man, Kim, do you need us to dispose of this? And she's like, no, I'll handle it. And I was like, okay.
So there's someone we're not going to ever mess with.
No, I'm not messing with her.
There's something that when you encounter somebody in their element, when they kill something like that dog, for example, in stride, straight in the chest, and tell you that they'll dispose of the body, that you just go, yeah, I'm not really going to mess with that person.
I recently saw an article, too, that a guy was moving tree stands in Georgia and got attacked by a pack of wild dogs. Yeah. And it showed his legs. Like, he had like 150 puncture wounds on his legs from a pack of wild dogs. But he was able to fend them off.
It's just like we don't take – that happened to me. We had a boxer, and the kids know. I said, if you ever see a dog that is not ours – you get in the house immediately and you tell mommy or daddy. And so they came running in.
Was this out at the farm?
This is at the farm.
Oh, okay.
So like we're out at the farm, and at this point they come in and they go, Daddy, there's a dog. And I was like, what do you mean there's a dog? And she's like, there's a big dog outside. And so I immediately go get the thermal. Like I go grab the AR with the thermal and I walk outside, and by this time it's run up and it's about 350 yards away. Like it's at the edge of the woods. Yeah. And I lined it up once and I could see it hit right in front of it, but then it took off, and so I was like, well, now I'm going to make sure
that's what
it doesn't come back. So I was like, stop,
just dumping it at him. Run him off.
Whole mag.
Yeah, run him off.
And so then my neighbors are like, everything okay? I get a text. Everything just a dog. Just a dog came up. But they said that was the second time they saw that dog.
Oh, okay.
So they were playing. They like to go over to the hay bales and play tag. They got run around on top of the hay bales and stuff with buddies come over or whatever. And they saw it up at the top by where the cows are, and we've got like 4 new calves up there. And they saw it, and they yelled at it, and Raptor was with them. And Raptor ran up the hill after, like, this puppy, 6-month-old Aussie puppy, runs after this. So Raptor's like, he didn't get murdered. Yeah. But he chased off the dog.
You know how you learn that lesson? You get your butt whooped.
You get your butt whooped?
Yeah.
But, so, anyway, that happened. The other day, we were across the street looking at something on the house construction, and Raptor got a little bold and went out there after Molly, that horse. And I went, you are about to get stomped.
Did he get it?
No, what came after him? Junie. The
donkey got after him. Now, donkeys, people, use donkeys. They're putting them in their pastures with their cattle because donkeys will.
I keep trying to get Austin to just put the donkey over there with the cows. I'm like,
no, he needs
that's
to
the best garden.
It is. It is.
And even running that horse with him if you wanted to. At least they have some company. But then that donkey came after Raptor and started, and he was like, nope.
Attaboy.
He took off. He was like,
attaboy, Raptor.
And I was like,
that's like I said, that's how you learn your lessons in life, man. Like you figure it out.
Josie taught him a lesson the other day because
crud.
He
I forgot I have a lunch meeting.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Right now?
Right now.
Right now. So we should stop this?
Yes, I have to stop.
Back rolling.
Well, sorry about that, folks.
And we're back.
We're back. I forgot that I forgot that I lined up a meeting for me and Adam today.
Worked out good.
It did work out well, but I do apologize there. We literally ran out the door and I would dress a little nicer for like a business meeting.
I mean, it is. We are what we are.
I don't know. Is this me? This is probably more me than the business casual Brad.
Yeah.
Though
like,
I do
this
enjoy.
Is me.
I do enjoy putting on the old Tony Llamas and looking nice and but yeah. So I just haven't had a great opportunity to do that because we had to run when I was sitting here filming the podcast and they sent a message that said we just got here, we're in a booth in the back corner by the windows.
Us too.
And we're like, oh crap, we're 20-minute drive from this restaurant.
It's all fine.
I did not speed.
No, we follow all the statutes
through
and
school
laws.
Zones. Would not do that because I'm a law-abiding citizen.
Can neither confirm nor deny my involvement.
I don't need Fowler Dodge tracking me down
in these activities.
Just a big black diesel streak running through Cross Timbers Elementary.
It's hard to get a radar and stuff when it's moving that fast.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
It's all the accuracy is not as reliable.
Exactly. So anyway, we had a wonderful lunch meeting with a company.
Yeah.
About doing some media work for.
It was good.
It's a pizza franchise.
Yeah, it was good. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Me too.
I'm excited mainly because it's food oriented.
Well, I was about to say I'm excited to see a slice of it go down my palate.
Yeah. Right into the gullet.
Right into my gullet.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, good times. Good times. So sorry about that, as we had jet.
Yeah.
And we have no idea what we were talking about prior to.
Yeah, but we also didn't know that then either.
What did you eat today? What did you have for lunch?
Today I had a Reuben.
It looked good. And what was that? What was that? The dip you got to go with your fries?
It's the creamy garlic. You got to get the creamy garlic dressing when you go to Charleston's. It's the only way.
Okay.
It's the only way to go. Like that.
Okay.
That I was introduced to that sauce by an employee of Charleston's because Casey and I's favorite place to go when we lived here in Oklahoma City was going to Charleston's for date nights.
That was my mom's favorite place to eat too.
I think we've talked about that.
Yeah, she loved to eat at Charleston. She'd get a filet. She loved the carrots, and then she would order a slice of the carrot cake, their carrot cake, and she would always say to the lady, "Don't get cheap on me.
Don't get cheap on me.
I don't care how big it is. I want a big slice.
Don't get cheap on me."
That's what she'd say.
That's what my go-to is, always getting the chicken tender platter with carrots, double carrots.
They do have great carrots.
Double carrots.
Which is super weird to say. Like, I'm at a restaurant and I'm ordering carrots, but they
when they come out basically covered in sugar, it's like eating yam, like sweet potato pie or something like that at Thanksgiving. It's like, this is vegetables.
Mm-hmm. I was just giving you advice on what you eat at all the chain restaurants. So if you don't have a Charleston's, I apologize for that.
Yeah.
Anyway, good stuff. I have been super busy on the road speaking. This is back kind of post-COVID, man. It was a rough little stint. 2019, I spoke at 44 churches around the country. COVID happened, and I spoke at 9. And then next year, in 2022, I spoke at... in 20... So in 20, I spoke at 13... 21, I spoke at 9, and then last year I did 28 churches, I believe, in 22. But I'm back up and running, pretty hard and heavy. So been to Albany, New York. We've done, several actually in Oklahoma, but just been on the road a bunch speaking. And I had a crazy trip this week. I drove to Argyle, Minnesota. First time I ever spoken in Minnesota. I've been doing this 13 years and 10 years full time. But it's my first time to ever speak in Minnesota because Minnesota people, as we obviously know, don't love Jesus.
Well, there went that demographic.
Just kidding. Our friends from Real Avid, they love Jesus.
Yeah.
And they live there.
They live there.
But they ain't ever planned an event to bring Brad Clay up.
Nah.
So maybe they don't love Jesus as much.
Maybe that's what it is.
Oh, gosh. I'm just kidding. But it's my first time to ever speak there. And I was going to fly in. I dumped 29 inches of snow up there. Couldn't get a flight, so I had to rent a car. And I took my daughter, Ava, my 12-year-old daughter, Ava, rode with me. And we drove. We left on a Wednesday. I spoke on a Thursday night. Left on Wednesday. She went to church. She wanted to go to youth group. And so I said, it's fine. We'll leave afterwards. I drove just north of Topeka to a casino north of there. And
gambled there for a few hours.
No, I didn't. I'm not a gambler. You know this about me. I'm not a gambler.
With money?
I'm more of a rambler.
Rambler?
I gamble with my life.
Yeah, gamble with life, but
I don't gamble with money.
No,
not very often. Occasional, fun little poker game.
The occasional,
just some buddies.
Texas Hold'em,
little Texas Hold'em,
just Texas Hold'em game for funsies.
No, nothing too big.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we drove to this casino, just north of Topeka, about 30 minutes. Awesome, dude. It's $89 a night. Super nice place, and it included 2 breakfast buffets for me and Ava.
Ooh.
And it rang up. It was like $17.50 a piece for the buffets.
Wow.
So I legit stayed there for like $50.
Yeah, you stayed there for they almost paid you.
They almost paid me to be there. They did, but it was great. I had it timed out what time we need to leave for me to get to the event. The doors open to the event. Argyle, Minnesota is 40 minutes from Alberta, almost to Winnipeg.
No, you're there.
And so I looked on the map. This is how long it's going to take to get there. So set my alarm, get up, go eat the breakfast buffet, and I'll walk out.
Which it's very hard to beat a high-quality breakfast buffet.
I agree with that.
I agree with that. I can get through a majority of my day if I hit a good breakfast buffet without having to stop.
Oh, like all day?
Like I can get all the way to dinner.
Okay.
I can do some serious work at a breakfast buffet.
Yeah. Yeah. We enjoyed it. It was good. We walk outside, and it is turned into a blizzard. Absolute blizzard. So I get on the road. I'm on Highway 75, which is a major travel corridor, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I head up I-75 and through. I'm not very far from Nebraska. Maybe, 40 minutes from Nebraska. Through the entire state of Nebraska, all the way to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. My top speed, 42 miles an hour. 42 miles an hour. And I'd left not thinking, realizing there's going to be a blizzard. So my arrival time was like 5:02 p.m. And I'm watching the clock as I'm driving 40.
Yeah.
It goes 5:02 to 5:17 to 5:31 to 5:46, 6:02, 6:30. Honestly, when I get out of Nebraska and I'm into South Dakota, it says my arrival time is 7:12. Doors open at 5:30, but they did tell me you don't speak until 7. So as long as you can be here before 7, we'll be fine. I called you in a bit of a panic.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I said, Adam.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to make it.
We've got a problem.
We got a problem. What can we do that if I'm not able to make it? Can we put together a package?
Can we do something? Actually, what we said was, do you know where?
Because this happened to me a couple years ago.
A couple?
What year was that?
That was
16? Was it 16 or 15?
Yeah, that was almost 10 years ago.
That's sad, but that's the case. Guess who's calling right now?
Who is that?
It's Brett Whipwheel.
Oh, no.
Hey, Brett.
Hey, man.
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Good. How about you?
I'm good, man.
What are you doing?
You're actually on the podcast right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you're. I got you on the by the microphone, buddy.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, hello, everybody. Hello.
Hello, everybody. Can I call you back when this podcast is over?
Or is there anything that you just need to get off your chest to the world right now?
Yeah.
There is. I was going to call and just put some, just put a little, little impact behind the punch, you know what I mean? And say, hey, boys, we got to get together. I don't know how much the whole world knows, but, we're talking with some of the most talented social media guys, marketing guys, advertising guys, and all that, and my life is in their hands as far as the branding and imaging and likeness and all of that stuff that goes on with the things that are needing done. And it's urgent.
Well, we met today, and you were a large majority of the conversation today.
Man, I appreciate that, guys. I really do.
I didn't say it was positive.
We're actually trying to figure out how to get out of all of it at this point, but we feel like we're too far in.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are firing me?
No. We're trying to fire ourselves. You were a large part of the conversation today. We've got a great little plan put together for all your entities because, as I said, you're the best, sketchiest person I've ever met in my life, Brett Will.
Amen.
Hey, it's Whip.
It's Brett Whip Will. We need to have you come back on the. We need you to come back on the podcast.
We do. We got to freshen things up. We got some business to take care of. I've got some personal drama to take care of. Timothy Boomstick went.
Okay.
And / Winchell.
I'd love to hear about it. Oh, Boomstick. You know what? He still owes me money.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Yeah, that's not changed.
No, and it's sad. That's all I can say. It's sad.
Yeah. You know what? I'll be honest with you. I don't know anybody from Tecumseh, Oklahoma that I'd trust to throw him across the room. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. He's on that teeter-totter line. He's kind of in that T-town area / what would that be, like Macomb / area? Maybe.
Well, I also don't trust people that their favorite restaurant's Long John Silver's.
I know.
I mean, it is good.
The old Long John Silver's there in Ada, Oklahoma. Open it back up.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It's been out of business for a minute, and it's in bad shape.
Well,
and he's been contemplating buying it and opening Long John Silver's back up.
No.
Is he? Are you serious?
No.
Winchell's talking about opening up the Long John Silver's back up, franchising that dude back open in Ada.
Mm-hmm.
So should we buy him life insurance now for when his heart stops?
I know, right?
I can't even believe Winchell. How can he afford to do that when he owes me money?
Land banks, they tend to give it out.
I cannot
He's
believe
actually
it.
planning on paying you back in fish.
He's going to pay me back in cod?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
As long as you got some decent credit with a couple of Kubota tractors to, put up as collateral.
That I hooked him up on. He got a great deal because of me.
He did. All that equity that you gave him? Yes. Yes.
Oh, my gosh. You know what, man? It's just getting taken advantage of. People just take advantage of Brad Clay. I got a lot of connections. I'm connected to a lot of people, and people take advantage of me.
They do, man. Unfortunately, yes, and I'm one of them.
Hey, at least you admit it, bud.
Next time you come on our show, on our podcast here, we're going to talk about how you greased out of the best deal you've ever bidded on in your entire life.
That is true. You did. You got a great deal, and you greased yourself out of getting a website built.
I did. One of the best business decisions that I've ever made in my entire life.
See, the problem is you didn't.
Who would have thought you went to an outdoor banquet where you buy like broadheads or you buy like you're going to put your ticket in on something like a hunt or something like that. You know what I mean? No, and it was like the only thing I was focused on was that moment of seeing that page and reading it and going, man, this is awesome. Because I already know what I'm going to do with this. I already got a game plan. These guys have no idea what's fixing to come down the pipeline.
The problem, Brett, is you didn't read the fine print when it said it takes approximately 4.5 years to get the website complete.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Well, that's a great story.
How disappointed Adam Carter was that evening when he found out.
It's my fault too, bud. It's my fault, man. 100%. I cost us money.
It was 100% your fault.
I cost us money. That's a story for another time. We'd love for you to come on the podcast so we can do that. I'll call you back. We'll talk a little bit of business with the other stuff. But thanks for.
I'm excited.
Excited about coming on the podcast?
But man, we just pulled the trigger on a good service manager guy that's coming in. We want to get some content rolling out pretty quick on some service stuff. So
okay, all right, kind of changing gears on me a little bit, throwing us a curveball. We're in. Yeah. All right,
that is life with Brett Will.
That is life with Brett Will.
Giant curveball.
Yeah. What are you doing, Brett? Oh, I'm buying wire from an Albanian in a.
That was a good story too.
Yeah, we haven't talked about that either. That's a great story. You bought wire from an Albanian that had full facial tattoos.
I did.
Anyway, all right, Brett. Appreciate you. All
right, brother.
All right, buddy. Bye.
See you.
That guy.
That guy. When I say Brett Wheel is the greatest, sketchiest person I've ever met in my life, that I don't know a better way to explain it.
No, it is 100% accurate. Like 100%. There's not another human being on this earth that every time I talk to him, it's something new.
He's an entrepreneur. He's new. Into all kinds of things. But me and Brett do have a little bit of beef with you.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like maybe, if Brett is the most untechnical person in the world, but if Brett knew how to do this, I'd probably fire you.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
A guy only turns 41 years old once, bud. Okay. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's one time.
Okay.
Got you VIP access to a concert to go see Coulter Wall.
Mm-hmm.
Had dinner.
Mm-hmm.
A great dinner planned at Teller's in downtown Oklahoma City. Incredible environment, cool place. Brett comes. His wife's there.
Mm-hmm.
Got a bunch of other friends that come out. Man, made me feel really, really special.
Mm-hmm.
What happened, bud? You no-showed us.
I didn't no-show.
I mean, you literally...
I did not show up.
That's called a no-show.
No, a no-show is when people expect you to be there and then you don't show up.
But it was day of back out.
It was the day before back out.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I don't know. It was not the day of back out because we were trying really hard to figure out how we were going to be able to come and find somebody to watch all the kids. And
that's weird. You guys live on a compound with all of your family.
That we're all on a cruise.
Oh. Well, that makes sense.
So, my parents, we literally went through it. We went through, so my parents.
You know what? I don't really care.
Yeah,
I don't really care.
It's not,
I don't even care.
It's not worth it.
You know what? You make time for what's important.
So here's the thing.
You make time for what's important.
You do. And the problem is that you're not.
Hey, I mean.
Is that what you want to hear?
That's what I enjoy. You know how I feel about it.
I need to feel the pain.
I need to feel it. Make me regret life decisions.
Yeah.
I need it. I need punished.
Oh, there's a lot of fun story about behind all that stuff, behind the lines of all of it, that we were trying to figure out stuff, and I was super frustrated because we couldn't find anybody to do it. It actually led to a big giant fight between Casey and I.
Did it really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that makes me feel better.
A real big fight.
That makes my birthday complete. Knowing that I almost ruined your
marriage.
I
just need to fulfill it with the pain of it. All of it worked out now. All of it worked out. I felt horrible because I was like, April's got these tickets and we were committed to buy them and we were all this stuff and it was a surprise and I was like, dang it, I don't want to be the only friend that's not there.
And you were.
And I was.
Mm-hmm.
And it's and then when you sent me that message, I was like, dang it, I'm never going to live this down. I am never.
Oh yeah, me and Brett sent you a message and he was like, where's Carter? Where's Carter at? Where's Adam? And I was like, man, he sucks, man.
What's funny is I sent the message and I went, yeah, I deserve it. It is what it is.
Yep.
It is what it is.
Yeah, he stood me up. Didn't come, but we went to a concert, saw Coulter Wall.
It was
a great time. We sat in the VIP section, bro. It was funny is that Brett. Oh, it was so great. You're up. You guess who I sat next to? Bob Funk Jr.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The Funk family in Oklahoma are billionaires.
Oh, yeah.
But we were up in the VIP section, and Brett knew someone that was there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did too. Actually, one of my former youth kids, Dylan Dalrymple.
Whoa.
Dylan Dalrymple.
What a name.
Oh, it's a great name. Dylan was actually a Final Descent Outdoors cameraman. You know why?
Is he the one who filmed with you and you shot that deer at super long distance or something like that?
Well, I shot him in Kansas, and I did shoot him at a pretty good distance, but he started out at 8 feet. Yeah. But I went to draw and my cell phone fell out.
I remember.
And it almost hit the deer.
Yeah.
Well, that's a debacle story.
Just trying to get a new angle.
But Dylan was a cameraman for me because he was homeschooled. I'm telling you,
does he get out?
He could leave. Like his parents were like, oh yeah, no problem, he can go. And so I'd load.
We're actually looking for a mode to get him out of the house for a little bit.
Yeah, so it's super easy to find somebody to film for you when they're homeschooled. And so Dylan would homeschool as a homeschool kid, like would go film. So he goes to Kansas with me, and it was one of the sketchiest trees that I've ever hunted. We watched these several nice bucks. It was in northwest Kansas, like Hill City, Kansas. There's not a lot of trees. And we were watching these deer filter out of this draw to go to this wheat field. And we were like, there's one tree, and it's a cottonwood, and it was actually at the bottom of the draw. And I was like, if I can get in that tree right there, those deer walk right by me. Like, I'll kill a good buck. So we made the decision to go in the afternoon and set it up and then hunt it the next morning and catch the deer coming off this big field. And so we go in, and we actually set up a decoy too, but we go in to hang the stand in the whole cottonwoods, man. They just leaning. I couldn't get the back of because the tree was leaning. It was leaning backwards, and I couldn't get the top of the stand to touch the tree.
Yeah.
And
fine,
so
totally fine.
So I got the bottom ratchet down. Well, I ended up putting 3 ratchet straps just on the top. And I cinch it down, but it won't touch it. But it's got 3 ratchet straps on it. Like, the dude ain't moving. So the next morning, we get there, and Dylan has got to go in first because he's got to use my stand to step into his stand as a cameraman stand.
Totally fine.
And he's like, he gets up there, and I'm like right below my stand waiting on him to step in. And he's like, hey, this stand's not actually touching the tree. And I'm like, it's fine. And he's like freaked. He's like, I can't do it. And I was like, you don't have a choice. And so it took literally maybe 7-8 minutes to coerce him to get into that stand. And I'll never forget when he gets in it. I mean, he's like, he's shaking. He's so scared, to climb in it. But he gets in it, and we'd set a decoy up in front of us. First time I'd ever used a decoy. And we're up there, and we'd seen some few deer filter by or whatever. And the guide's wife drove us in. She's parked 600-700 yards away, and she can see the field. And I'm sitting there, and she texts me. My phone buzzes, and I pull it out of my safety harness, and I look at the phone, and she's like, "Big buck coming down the draw towards you." And so I'm like, well, which direction? So I text her back. Well, about that time, I look up, and I see him in front of me. And he's like 100 yards, and he's coming right at the decoy. And it's this big 8-pointer, real wide-horned 8-pointer, and his body is massive. And so I go, and I'm like, oh, crap. So, like, the problem was this tree was in the bottom of this draw. So me and Dylan are literally probably 25 feet in the tree, but we're only like,
you're like eye
8
level.
foot in the air from where the deer are walking, because it's the highest I could get, because then the branches got all crazy. And so we're just like, it's the best we can do, just hope and pray it works. So I see this deer, and like he's like walking eye level with me, coming straight at me. So like real slow, like try to slide my phone back down in my pocket of my safety harness, and like real slow, like wait, and I get like he ends up like moving behind like a little knoll, and I get my bow picked up and I latch onto it, get Dylan's attention. He starts filming. He lays down incredible footage. You know this? You remember this footage?
Oh yeah.
He's like clearing his nostrils. The buck is like he's licking his nostrils, pins his ears back, and he circles the decoy, comes like at 8 yards from me. I go and I draw, and when I go to draw, from her texting me, I didn't get my phone pushed down in my pocket. And when I go to draw my bow, I knock my phone out of my pocket. It hits every branch on the way down. It's like, it hits the ground. The buck's like, and he like stops, and he just like looks at me, and we just look into one another's souls at 8 yards.
Yeah.
And I'm like partially drawn, like I'm kind of holding it like this. Tried to freeze. My phone fell. And he spins and he runs up the hill, and he goes to like 65 yards. Yeah. And he stops, and he's like blowing. He's like blowing at us, like, and he's stomping. And I'm like, gosh dang it. But dude, he can't get over that decoy. He sees that buck, and he's like, why didn't that dude run? What's going on? And he kind of works his way, because it was a buck and a doe decoy. Yeah. And he ends up working down to like 46 yards. And it's like got heavy brush, and he walks and he stops right in a circle about this big. through the
in a
branches,
hole.
just
Yeah.
a hole, and I can see his whole body. I draw on him, and he's looking, and dude, I 10-ringed him.
Just let it fly.
46 yards, 10-ring him,
Yeah.
heart shot. He takes off running. He just starts plowing the ground on the front end and just done. Incredible. So that was Dylan. I was a Dylan Dalrymple. So he was at the Coulter Wall concert.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, he texts me a picture of my truck in the parking lot.
Uh-huh.
You know, here's a big Rat Finalists and Outdoors truck.
Yeah.
And he took a picture in front of it and like texted it to me. And he's like, where are you at? And I'm like, I'm in the VIP. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so like I'm calling and like we're talking and he's like, I'm like, where are you? And he's like, I'm to the right of the sound booth. And he's like in the back and he's like, I'm looking and I find him like, oh, it's hard to see down there with all the peasants, all the peasant people down there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we kind of joked about that, but we had a great time at the concert. You didn't attend with us.
Yeah.
Great time. I don't know how I can ever attend a concert again and not sit in the VIP.
Yeah. Now you've been spoiled completely to a place that you can't return.
It's like, how do you fly commercial after you've flown?
Oh, it makes total sense. You've had way too much VIP treatment lately. It's not good for you.
It's not bougie Brad. You know what I mean? It's bougie Brad. People make fun of me. I got a haircut today.
Yeah.
I don't just go to a barber.
No.
You know what I mean? I can't just do
I do
that.
not know what you mean.
That is true. You're completely bald.
I do not know what you mean.
I do have a luscious lock of hair on my head.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's real nice. Just them strong jeans, just hanging in there, you know. But I got to get a haircut today. And I don't just go to any place. I go to a men's spa. People want to make fun of me. You know what I mean? Like, give me a hard time about bougie Brad. People say that all the time, like bougie Brad. I've created a knot in this. There it goes.
That's bothering me. Okay,
it was bothering me.
me.
And, you know, like, people are like, you know, why do you go to this place? Like, I enjoy paraffin wax. I enjoy paraffin wax on my hands.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Get a facial.
Mm-hmm.
All right, while I'm there. Massage chair.
Mm-hmm.
You know, wash, shampoo, little aromatherapy.
None of these things sound bad to me.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, what's the big deal? And I get made fun of about that.
That's fine. That's fine.
I don't get my hair cut often, and when I do, I'm going to treat yourself.
I cannot remember the last time that I got like the full treatment was when my beard was like very long. Like I was in the it was right after shooting the Jurassic Thorn video.
You remember when your sister and you made that video of her waxing your ears?
That was the time.
That was it?
That was it. That's why I haven't gone back.
Waxed your ears and did she do your nose too?
She did my nose.
That's what it was.
She did my nose, which I will say my sense of smell vastly improved.
That's what it ripped all the nerve endings out.
No, like
I opened them up.
I think it's just all the, like, who knows all the things, the contaminants that have been stuck up in there that were yanked violently.
Man, I don't like the word contaminants. That's a weird term, man. I don't know how I feel about contaminants.
Oh, there's definitely up there. But yeah.
Yours does. My nose doesn't have contaminants.
Oh, that is a load. But so got the wax ripped, or ear holes and nose hole waxed, and it was not pleasant. Was not pleasant at all.
That's pretty bougie, though.
It's very bougie. I mean, there's nothing that makes you feel like a first world person.
Is there
than getting
100%,
your
100%. Well,
pampered.
we talked about Belize in the last one. I've been on mission trips. You know what I mean? Like, I care about other places in the world, not just here. You know, I want people to think
some other places like that, things like that.
That really does sound bad. Anyway, is there other like bougie things that you would be like down? You'd be down for? You're a hairy dude. Would you ever consider a wax?
No, I do not like pain. I do not like pain. It hurts me.
Okay.
So like, there's the so when my sister Chelsea was first getting into all of the cosmetologist stuff.
Did she use you?
Oh, she used me and Austin, both, for wax training on one of our arms.
Oh man!
Let me just say that I couldn't imagine like some like those people that go and get like their armpits waxed and stuff. like as much. Your arm's a much less sensitive place.
I did, most of the time I do our media stuff together.
Yeah.
But every once in a while there'll be a friend, and you've done this too. Like you've had a friend.
Oh God.
That you.
Yeah. There's multiple people that are like, hey, will you help me with a website? And you're like, no big deal.
Right. You cut me out because you want me to get paid.
Yeah. All $0 that you'd make from the whole endeavor. Right.
So I had a friend owns a studio called Sugar Me Studio. Mm-hmm. And are you familiar with sugaring?
I am.
So they use this. They put sugar on you, like powdered sugar, and then they and they peel the hair off.
Yeah.
I filmed that. I went and did a media package and helped this lady out that I'm friends with, and I went and filmed a waxing and saw armpit waxing.
Nope. Nope.
Yeah, that was rough. It was a rough deal. All right, so waxing's out for you. Have you ever heard of a colon cleanse? Not like you take something, but like
they just like stick a garden hose up you and just
turn it on.
You're gonna want to bite on this stick. You're about to experience something that will change your life forever. The green garden hose of cleanse.
So it is essentially a cleansing process where your colon is filled and then drained.
That happens on a daily basis for me.
I don't know if it does.
About happened at Charleston's about 20 minutes ago.
I got tired of waiting on you. I was like, hey, it's nice to meet you. I'm going to use the restroom real quick. Nice to meet you. We shook hands with him. You go in. And I was like, well, I'll just wait on him out here in the lobby.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm there like 7-8 minutes, and I'm like, forget this. I'm walking the truck. I'm about halfway to the truck. I hear Adam go, whoo! He walks outside.
Oh.
You had some problems, bud.
Ranger Rick.
Little Ranger Rick.
Ranger Rick.
Anyway, would you ever consider, like, I feel like you have a bunch of bubble gum. It'd be breaking free.
You just call me a gum swallower? I feel like that's a good insult. You gum swallowing sucker.
You are a gum swallowing sucker. You just look like a gum swallower.
It's just like calling somebody.
That's the name of this episode.
Gum swallowing sucker.
Gum swallower. I'm sending you a text to
remind yourself.
Because I have to call you all the time. Be like, hey, Adam, what did we say?
What did we talk about? You're talking to the guy that doesn't remember what happened about 20 minutes ago. Yeah, no. Like gum swallower sounds like a great way to call someone stupid.
I love this picture that I sent you earlier today. This picture of Reba McEntire eating a corn dog.
Yeah, I still don't understand the context.
I don't know if you can see that very well. It's Reba McEntire eating a corn dog. Fellow Okie right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no context to that.
No context. It's just one that you send and you just let the assumptions begin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So colon cleanse would.
I think I'm out on. I mean, I think I'm out. I mean, even there's just not a lot of things that like I'm a fairly simple creature.
We're both I'm over 40.
Yeah.
Have you thought about your prostate health?
The old checkout.
Have you? Is it?
Oh yeah, I've had that happen.
You've had it happen?
Oh,
You've
yeah.
had that done?
Oh,
I've never had it done.
Oh gosh.
Is it time?
There's so Casey.
I don't know. So this is a legitimate question. What is the time frame?
Apparently, like when you're getting checked for your premarital appointment. That's about when. So like when I'm not kidding. When I went, Casey's.
You're saying Casey requested this?
No.
Okay. Because I was like, bro.
No.
What in the world? Okay. All right.
No.
Okay.
The doctor that Casey went to, they had a male doctor in the same building, and I didn't really have a regular doctor that I went to.
Yeah, you're an Indian clinic. You're an Indian clinic urgent care guy.
Yeah, Indian clinic and urgent care.
Yeah,
that's all.
Hey, I tell you what, one of the best things you can do is make friends with an urgent care doctor.
Oh yeah,
because they'll give you whatever you want.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Like, hey, I need this. Sounds good enough to me.
Yep, they'll give it to you. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, so she's like, you might as well go to this guy, and I won't say his name, but he's retired now anyway. So I was like, okay, good. Went in for my
still go to jail.
Went in for my first appointment or whatever.
Yeah.
Had our consultation or whatever. He's like, let's see you back here in a month and we'll do our initial rundown or whatever his procedures were. Go back in. And it was like the full gamut.
Here's this here's this gown.
Yeah. Like, you're going to need to disrobe, sir. And I'm like, what for? And so then I come back in and like the whole thing, like full physical.
Ways to die.
Yeah. Like, hey, we're going to touch your tonsils through your butt. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So that happened. So that happened the first time that I was there, and I was like, well, on that one, I'm like, you know what? Fine. Okay. Fine. We're gonna go for.
You're a gum swallower.
You're
There's
gum
no doubt.
swallowing. So anyway, go back. I can't remember what happened. Like, got the flu, like something bad.
From the check?
No. Have you ever had rectal flu? There's another name for the episode.
I'm not naming it. There's no way we could. God, can you imagine if one of our family members was to actually listen to this podcast?
Oh, they'd be like, you can't do that anymore.
It's much less people that I know listen to this.
Jeez.
It's not going to be named rectal flu. That's so bad.
Gum swallowing the rectal flu.
That's the ultimate. You know who is that? Keith Wimp.
Old Tater himself.
Oh, Tater himself. He is a rectal flu gum swallower. I tell you what, that guy owed me money. Tired of it. Pay up, son. God, trying to franchise a Long John Silver's in 8, Oklahoma when you owe me money. Well, I don't think so, bud. I'm gonna. You know what?
You're just gonna go in there.
I'm gonna let him get it finished. And I'm gonna go in there and rip that bell off the wall, and I'm taking it with me.
I'm taking this. This is mine.
That bell's mine.
Ding, ding, ding.
That's right. All right, go ahead.
You could tell him to come find me, and I'll ring this bell for us to fight the money that he owes
ding,
me.
Ding, ding, ding. We'll just duke it out.
Yeah, no. So I go in for the flu, something like that, and we're doing the whole thing, and he's like, all right. And so then he's like, we're going to go ahead and, while you're here, we're going to go ahead and just kind of like check. We'll do some other checks, too. And I'm like, dude, I feel like I want to die, and you want to stick your finger in my butthole. So I was like, I really don't think that's necessary.
This segment is brought to you by Burlington Northern Santa Fe. They're sure proud to be sponsoring this portion of the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I just heard the train whistle, so brought to you by Burlington Northern Santa Fe. I met a guy in McAllister, Oklahoma, when I spoke last Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Gave you a prostate exam?
In the parking lot. Of the Expo Center in McAllister.
Old parking lot prostate exam.
No, he did not. My gosh.
You seem like a guy that's got a bad case of the rectal flu.
Oh my gosh. This is maybe the worst episode that we've done.
This is a bad one.
Things were heading a different direction for lunch.
Yeah.
You ate a Reuben and all of a sudden you became a different man.
Yeah.
Anyway, but he worked for Burlington Northern Santa Fe. And I said, bro, I've been trying to get a hold of them.
I'm trying to contact you.
And he was like, well, I'm retired now. But he's like, you know where the yard is in downtown Oklahoma City? And I was like, no. And he's like, told me where it was at. And he's like, just walk in there and go up to the tower. He goes, that's the guy that handles the money. And I was like, okay. So maybe we just need to roll down there.
Maybe we just need to walk in and be like, we've got a deal for you.
Yeah. Anyway, so you're sick. He says, we're going to go ahead and check everything. We're going to go ahead and do your prostate.
I say, no, we're not.
Oh, you tell him no.
No, we're not. I was like, I do not feel good, and this is not what we're going to do. And he's like, that's not a problem. I understand. So he's like, I just try to, when people are in here, try to get, everything all at once. And I'm like, I understand that, but no, thank you. Next year, something else, like sinus infection.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could go in and get some antibiotics, just get it over with real quick. Guess what?
It's time.
While you're here. So that was the second and the last time that I had a prostate examination.
So what was the first?
That first appointment.
Oh, so he did it then.
Yes.
And so he turned around and did it a year later.
So turned around and did it a year later, and he's like, well,
dude, you're in your 20s, right?
I know. I'm fully aware. And so I told Casey, I was like, every time I go in there, He wants to
check my prostate.
He wants to
check
violate me.
Check my prostate.
Whatever.
Let's keep it clean.
Yeah. And so like I'm out. I'm out on this. So I went back to urgent care and Indian clinic.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't get your prostate checked.
No, you don't. Not unless it's requested.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, all that to be said is it's time for you.
Well, I will say that one of our music ministers
41. That's what that stands for. 41. That's when it begins.
I don't have a doctor.
You don't?
I don't have one. No, I don't have one. I know some.
Yeah.
I had an issue. This is an embarrassing.
So would you rather have a doctor that you know well in these situations, or would you rather have them be a complete stranger that you don't have to make eye contact with on the regular?
That's a great question. I have a lot of friends that are doctors.
Yeah.
That I will call and ask random things to. I had a health issue.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna go into details of it, but I had a health issue.
Is this the gangrene?
No, it wasn't gangrene. I got an infection. I had an infection.
Mm-hmm.
But it's set up in a place that we just don't talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And I called several doctor buddies.
Mm-hmm.
I called Dr. Tim Vavrika.
Mm-hmm.
And they wouldn't answer. And I'm just going through the list of people. I called my buddy Russell Hobbs, pharmacist. Didn't get a hold of him. And I ended up calling my buddy Brett, who is
Whip,
not Whip. Whip ain't no doctor.
I just cut it off.
Yeah, we ain't messing with him. And I ended up calling my buddy Brett Hyatt, and he's a radiologist. And he answered, and I'm like, Brett, dude, I've got a problem. I've got some swelling, soreness, like not feeling good, but this is what's going on. And he's like, man, dude, he's like, this is kind of out of my expertise, but my wife is an ER doctor. And so he puts his wife, Brandy, on the phone. Horribly awkward conversation. I'm like, hey, Brandy, nice to talk to you. I haven't talked to you in a while. Here's what's going on. And it was great. She ended up calling in some medicine for me. I was on a trip somewhere and got sick, and I had an infection, and so she got
you straightened out.
She got me some drugs. So I totally get it. But I did have our music minister to the church I last served at. His name was Glenn, and he was having some, had to have some, go get a checkup. And we had all went to one doctor, and it was Dr. Williams. Dr. Williams was like 6'3", like 260, big guy. And he, like, Glenn switched doctors. And I'm like, what's the deal? He's like, well, he started going to Dr. Lee, like kind of a small Asian man. And I was like, well, what, was there an issue? Like, you have an issue with Dr. Williams? Like, oh, no, Dr. Williams is great. And I was like, well, I noticed you switched, like something happened, like you were talking about going to Dr. Lee. And he was like, well, I had to have my prostate check. Have you seen Dr. Williams' hands and then Dr. Lee's hands? I'll go Dr. Lee.
So it's not so much about that. It's just more about the size of the hand.
It's just like he noticed,
Yeah. Some things
he just noticed that it's, quite a bit of
He thought through this.
He thought through it. So, kudos on that. Probably a smart move. Boy, this is really taking a turn.
Yeah. It's most of life. Most of life taking turn.
I have no idea how to bring back.
No, you can't bring it back
to a spiritual element. Because we've I don't even know how long we recorded prior to now.
I think this may be the longest podcast we've ever done.
Well, and it shouldn't have been. Let's be honest. This thing probably should have ended 25 minutes ago.
Started to get off the rails a little bit.
It really did. I'll say, though we've kind of talked about it and joked about it, but honestly, like having checkups, and that's something like honestly, like needs to have happen. Like I lost my dad to leukemia, and so there's a lot of things that maybe we take for granted that we don't get checked out or doing routine stuff. Like, with women, like they need to get checked for breast cancer. They need to have these screenings. They need to have those types of things. Johnny Maxwell, one of our staffers, Johnny's in good shape. He's not heavy set. He doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke. Had a Widowmaker heart attack. Like there's heart scans that you can have done. All those types of things. And we just try to feel like we're
invincible
when
very, very fragile.
We're very fragile.
Very, very fragile. And in the same sense that we look at this from a standpoint of going like, yeah, it is good to get these things checked. It's also the same thing with like our spiritual life. You can go through long periods of time where you're not maintaining your spiritual walk. Mm-hmm. You're living in this day-to-day. You're living recklessly with your spiritual walk, and like I'll go to God when I need Him.
Yeah.
But it's like if we're not in that daily relationship, in that regular checkup relationship with Him, then we're not. When those tough times come, you tend to turn other places.
Right. No, it's true.
So it's the same thing, like going to the doctor and them saying, hey, on your first checkup, we want to do one of the most invasive things we can do on you.
Right.
It's like
right.
there's no relationship built there, as where like with time and energy spent with Christ, those things line out, and I have this relationship and this trust, these things that I've built up with Him over time, where now when something does happen where you have a serious issue, you're able to turn to Him.
Right.
And it's like you never stopped. You've always been there.
Yeah. So. No, that's a great way to look at that, because I mean, and to think too, like we need to have those checkups. Like we need to have those checkups, not just physically, but even from a spiritual standpoint. I think that's why it's so important for us to be involved in the church.
Yeah.
Is that the church brings about these spiritual checkups that take place.
The church is a hospital.
It is a hospital, right? I mean, Jesus says, I came for who?
The sick.
The sick. I didn't come for those that are well. I came for those that were struggling, that are sinners, which really honestly falls into every one of us.
All of us.
Every one of us fall in this category of like, I'm a sinner, you're a sinner. None of us are righteous. No, not one. Mm-hmm. And so I've made mistakes. I mean, I'm open. I've made mistakes. I've screwed up. I've done things that, just that I've sinned against the Lord, and I appreciate you. I appreciate your friendship, because in a sense there's accountability, because me and you are the church with one another, the same way as, we don't go to the same church, though we have brought you over to the right side. You're now Baptist and attending the Baptist church in Wilson, Oklahoma. First Baptist.
First,
I'm just kidding. But we don't go to the same church, but we're definitely a part of the same church. Because of our relationship. And so I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for the checkups that happen between me and you, when it comes to just our relationship and how I know what's going on in your life. Like this last week, I didn't call and tell you, but I prayed so hard for Addie. I know she had surgery this week.
Yeah.
I didn't have to call you and be like, hey, Adam, I just want you to know I'm praying for you. But I did it anyway.
Yeah.
Right? And I know that when there's things going on in my life, I'm traveling, I'm doing those things, which we can talk about my crazy trip to Minnesota. We never got to finish that another time. But I know you're doing that. That's a part of the body, and how there's accountability between us. That's just how the church should function. That there's checks there, that you got people that have your back, that are looking out for you, that are checking on you. And so I appreciate that aspect of our relationship probably more than any other part of it.
Yeah. And that's the good, we each know who the actual doctor is in all of this.
Right.
And we know where we ought to go for any and all kinds of healing and checkups that we experience. So that's where we've found ourselves. And like you've told me and I've told you, I pray for you every day, and that God would do what He's going to do in your life. He would speak to you, that He'd use you in the ways that He's going to use you.
Well, and how many times have we had a conversation where I'm sharing something or you're sharing something and be like, "Did I prayed about that today for you?"
Yeah,
that's happened multiple times. It's
just the way it is, and that's where maybe that's where we leave this today. Is if you don't have somebody that is with you as in the checkup relationship, do you have anybody that you've allowed to do the checkup in your life? That can they see those things in you? Because all of us are sick, whether you're willing to admit it or not.
Yeah.
And every now and then your friend has to take you to the doctor, because sometimes you're not willing to admit you're sick. Just like with Jesus and the paralytic that's dropped down through the roof. He's brought to Jesus by his friends.
Because he honestly couldn't have got there.
He would never have gotten there without him.
Never would have gotten there if somebody didn't bring him.
So Like that's where we. Yeah, see, we brought it back.
We did. We really recovered this episode really well.
Brought it back.
We really did. We did bring it back.
I didn't know if it was going to happen, but there it is.
Man, thank you guys so much for being fans of our podcast. We apologize for today's content.
Hey,
it is a blind squirrel on crack.
It's a blind squirrel on crack.
Just follow along, as old Dave told us. It's a blind squirrel on crack. But he did say it's real. Because we don't have a script. We just sit down and we do things, and this is the result of it.
And you forget dinner or lunch meetings and all kinds of things. It's just part of it. And then you come out with what's probably going to be an hour and 20-minute long podcast.
At least. I'm going to say at least it's an hour and 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
Yep.
We
should have done part 1, part 2.
Maybe.
We're just going to throw it together and run with it. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Adam, how can people find you?
You can find me on the social medias at Hurley Films, HEARLYFILMS. On YouTube, we post videos somewhat inconsistently, and what's going on in our life a little bit.
That's right. You can find Final Descent Outdoors. You can visit our website and buy merch. Hey, you got the Final Descent Outdoors hoodies.
There it is.
Hats, all the things. That's at finaldescentoutdoors.com. You can also find us on Instagram at FD Outdoors. Love for you to give us a follow there. Our Instagram is really growing, by the way. Posting a lot of reels. And then you can find Final Descent Outdoors on Facebook and also on Twitter, FD Outdoors. So and on the YouTubes, you can search Final Descent Outdoors and you'll find us there as well. So appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in. For you folks that need this, go see a doctor. We talked a lot about doctor stuff, so you might want to go see one of those.
Psychologist?
Yeah, I didn't say what kind of doctor. You just need to go to a doctor.
Something soon.
Guys, thank y'all so much for tuning in. We're going to get back on track. We're going to be consistent. It's happening, buddy.
I feel like we've been fairly consistent.
Yeah.